Hello and welcome to Car Dealer Live, sponsored by CG Professional. Now, my name is James Batchelor, and today we are talking to the new UK Managing Director of DS Automobiles, Jules Tilstone, and he joins me now. Hello, Jules.
Hi, James. How are you?
I'm very well. Lovely to have you on. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking some time out to speak to us. Now, just a bit of background on Jules before we start. He took over from Alain Descartes in December 2020. Alain had been the UK MD between 2018 and December 2020. Jules was previously DS's European Commercial Director and has over 20 years of experience across Group PSA and has been involved with the DS brand since its creation as a separate entity in 2014. Now, Jules, I can't think of any better person really to talk about DS as yourself. You've taken this job at quite an interesting time, haven't you? In the middle of a global pandemic. But how is DS performing at a European and UK level?
Yeah, as you say, very interesting time to move roles. Luckily, as you say, I was already heavily involved in and have been heavily involved in DS from day one. So in fact, having had that European view, clearly working with Alain Descartes on DS in the UK. Actually, I come in clearly with that perspective and not fresh into a new brand. There's no doubt that the last 12 months have been challenging. I think for the same for everyone, and as a new brand in particular, because of course the best way to discover a new brand is to physically come and see us, to drive our cars, to experience our products, and really, see what we mean about Parisian luxury know-how injected into an automotive brand. And so yeah, it's a difficult time, but hopefully we're now heading towards the showrooms reopening in a couple of weeks, and we're looking forward to getting customers back into our stores.
Yeah. Do you think it's been a problem missing that March new 21 reg, or do you think we're just going to have that pent-up demand is going to move into April and May?
Well, I think we see the March market is running at about 30% down year on year, and obviously last March, halfway through the month, was when COVID first struck. So it's clear March is a difficult month, and particularly for those customers who are looking to move brands, because it's easier to perhaps organize a click and collect from a brand that on a product that in terms of a renewal, but more difficult if you're looking outside at other options. So we're looking at the market at the moment and seeing that obviously April will be higher than a normal April month, because as we all know, there is a cycle, 3 or 4 year cycle, a 2, 3 or 4 year cycle to customers' ownership, and of course March is an important month, and those finance contracts are up for renewal. So it will certainly elongate the traditional March impact into the following weeks and maybe a couple of months.
Yeah. It's very easy to downplay or be a bit downbeat about the car industry over the past 12 months. But let's face it, I think dealers have done a tremendous job in selling the cars that they have done. And the sector itself has been pretty resilient, hasn't it? What's your feeling?
Yeah, I think, we've asked a lot of our network in terms of changing how they handle customers, putting in the safety protocol to protect our customers who were coming in when they're allowed to come into the showrooms, the way we've needed to treat service cars, when we valet service cars, to make sure then there's enough time between someone exiting the car and the owner taking the car home. Test how we've treated test drives. All of those adjustments have had to be made in a very short period of time, looking back ahead of last summer. And actually, the network have really responded well to that, and now a lot of that activity is normal, considered normal practice, and will be normal practice when we reopen the doors.
Yeah. What's your view on the government's strategy in terms of electric cars? I mean, I know we've had the announcement today of the cut in the grants, but on a wider level, do you think the government is getting it right in terms of incentives and, you know, actually mapping out the route to 2030 and beyond?
Clearly, UK government have quite a different stance to other European countries, and obviously we're all aiming towards the same result in terms of reducing CO2. There's no doubt that, you know, that step between moving from an ICE vehicle into an electric vehicle is a big step for a lot of customers, and there's no doubt that grants help manage that step, particularly, you know, when we're talking about total cost of ownership, so including running costs and what have you, which is not necessarily something that customers have been looking at before. And for us, what's really important is actually it's about people driving the cars and test driving the cars and discovering what electric is about, rather than just electric being a label. Because what a lot of people don't appreciate is actually the benefits of electric, not just in terms of CO2, but in terms of driving comfort, you know, in terms of acceleration. So there's lots of benefits that customers maybe aren't familiar with and won't be really familiar with until they test drive a car. So, you know, we're very keen to you know, provide demonstrator cars for 24, 48 hours to customers, potential customers of DS, who actually need time in the cars to understand whether electric is the right for them. Not only that, whether it's full electric or whether actually plug-in hybrid is really the right option given their daily and weekly use of the car.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you know, alongside all of that, you know, there's been a change in the structure at Group PSA. Of course, the merger with FCA as well to create Stellantis. I mean, how secure is DS's future in the world of Stellantis?
Well, DS's future is very secure. We shared with you this morning our European picture in terms of 2020 performance. We're outselling Lexus across the major 18 markets. We're not so far behind Jaguar. And in fact, year to date, we're ahead of Lexus and Jaguar. So, you know, we are a strong player, and that's with only 2 models. So 2 new models this year, one in the E segment, one in the C hatch, and obviously the C hatch segment being significant from a premium perspective. So actually, you know, our value to Stellantis as a premium brand is significant, and of course now we have some brothers and sisters in that brand portfolio. But I think what's really important is what we bring to the group in terms of value. So electric, you know, we're 30% last year, 33% electric mix in our sales across Europe, 26% in the UK, and of course the customer we're bringing to the group. That's what's really important. We have a very distinctive product and brand, very different to the other brands within the group, and that's what brings a different customer to Stellantis, and that's why a multi-brand portfolio really works for a group like Stellantis.
Yes, absolutely. And also, if there is a man suitable for the job, Carlos Tavares is that man, isn't he? He's definitely the right guy leading the ship.
I totally agree. I could say nothing else to that.
Of course,
James.
you can't. I wasn't expecting you to.
No, I mean his results, the results of the group and what's been driven under his leadership are clear over the last 10 years. So yeah.
Now, today you gave details of your 6-point plan. One of those was targeting the right audience. Now, for the viewers watching this, what is the audience for DS products?
So the audience is first and foremost it's current premium owners. So you know, we see that our product and our brand story attract the audience who are currently driving premium cars and are looking for something a little bit different in the marketplace, something with a bit more exclusive, but also our approach to product development and our attention to detail, and particularly around our interiors and how we treat the materials we use in our cars, some of the some of the luxury techniques that we've taken from other industries in Parisian luxury and applied to automotive really resonate very well. So this is our target audience. I think a layer on top of that is, our French, our Parisian positioning really resonates even stronger with specific premium buyers. Those that buy fashion, etc. That's very much linked to Paris. The product really resonates well with those, and that's the sort of sub-demographic of the audience that we're seeing, who we want to now obviously grow in the UK.
Yeah. How would you currently describe brand awareness in the UK? Is it on the up, or is it that there's some more work needs to be done?
There's always work to be done. I think current brand awareness, if we look at our assisted awareness, we're at around 76% last year, and that's amongst the premium car buying audience. Now that's assisted. I mean, you ask a premium car owner to name the top three premium brands that come to mind. Excuse me, DS isn't in those three, and we won't be for 10, 15 years, because we've got very strong established competitors in the UK market, customers who have been customers of theirs, or maybe moved between one or two different brands for the last 10, 15, 20 years. So we're not going to rise to the top of that awareness bubble in overnight. So it's important that we continue to tell the brand story, that we focus on the audience who we think are most interested and well matched to our brand, that we bring in partnerships which are relevant, like Harvey Nicks for Kew Gardens last year, for example, on the electric front. That we move and become concrete in who our brand is and what we stand for, and that will naturally build awareness of our brand. And most importantly, we need to use our product, because just advertising a brand and a product is can be noise. We need to follow that up with real experience of what the product is, because it's the product that speaks the most about the brand.
Yeah. Now, we'll both be aware of the car companies that have been shouting from the rooftops recently about their big electric plans. One company's going to go from 2025, the other one's going to be 2030, an all-electric brand. DS has been in this space for quite some time. Is now the time to really reaffirm that message to customers through marketing, through those partnerships, and really get the message out there? This is an electrified car company.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a couple of years now since I think Guy Bonfant, the previous chief exec, announced to everyone that we would be full electric from 2019, and then electric only from 2025, and that strategy hasn't changed, and it's working. We launched DS3 Crossback E-Tense, DS7 Crossback E-Tense back in late 2019. As I said, the LEV mix last year was 33%, so that's significant. That is a big proportion of our business. It's not a niche element of our business. And now what we do moving forward, introducing an LEV variant in every new model that we launch, is fundamental. And actually, what we now need to do is make sure that we're known for electric, as you rightly say, and we'll use electric a lot in our media plan and in our marketing events and experiential side of marketing. And obviously, with the view of we will not be selling new vehicles which are petrol or diesel after 2025. So now we need to move forward and make sure that the customers know us for LEV, but also that they're comfortable coming to us and using us as a source of information when it comes to driving electric and switching from ICE to electric.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the days of people in the UK seeing DS cars as very, very nice Citroens, do you think those days are gone?
There's bound to be, connections between where DS is today and our roots. It's the DS, the classic DS of 1955, is what sparked the DS brand. So there's always going to be some connections, and it really is, it's important that we have that legacy and we have that that brand foundation. But as we move through the products, DS7 is a DS. I mean, there's no mistaking DS7 as a DS, and the same with DS3 Crossback. So we're into Generation 2 product, Generation 3 with new DS4 at the end of the year. So I think now from a product perspective and a customer experience perspective, there is now clear daylight between us and Citroën, and that will only get wider as we move forward. But of course, a lot of people haven't discovered yet DS in terms of getting their hands on the product. So that's what really makes the difference and takes people to understand what our position is in the market, and how far we've come from our heritage.
Yeah. Do you see the premium market only growing, in particular the premium electric car market, in the next 10 or so years?
Well, the premium market has been quite stable if we look back over the last 5 years. A few blips. It was stronger last year in the UK than previous years. Obviously, with the impact of COVID having causing some anomalies in the market, I would say. So I don't see any major changes in terms of the mix, the premium market versus the total market. Obviously, there'll be fluctuations in the total market as we move forward, as ever. And electric, of course, will become more and more fundamental in the mix of the cars that customers are choosing. We're already seeing a huge shift in terms of the technology. So the range, obviously, as the range increases on full electric, then more and more people find that style of car is going to work for them in their day-to-day lives, and plug-in hybrid as well. The plug-in hybrid with DS7, we're talking about now where hybrids used to be 1 or 2 miles on full electric. With DS7, we're over 30 miles. Now that's a day-to-day use for a commute, and then absolutely no problem with doing longer journeys, because you don't need to recharge on that journey. So, that for sure, technology will open up people's capacity to be able to live with electric on a day-to-day basis. So that can only grow.
Yeah. I really do hope that the brand's perception of PHEVs is going to change, because at the moment it's not in the best shape at the moment, is it? Some people, there are claims that they are fake electric cars. They really aren't, are they? And they do help with that stepping stone towards electric cars. And I think, much like diesels, PHEVs have got a bit of a brand problem, haven't they?
Well, there's a lot of confusion actually in the minds of consumers on what is hybrid. You've got what have been deemed self-charging hybrids. You've got mild hybrids. I think there's a lot of confusion out there as to what hybrid really is. And actually, I live with hybrid, and it suits me absolutely perfectly. I can do the commute to the office and back when I need to be in on one charge. So that's 30 miles. I can do a long journey and put an e-reserve. E-save on the car to make sure that when I get there, I've got up to 30 miles worth of full electric capacity, and it's saving me while I'm driving. With DS7 Crossback, you can start your journey empty, and by the time you get to where you're going, you can have 30% worth of electric input, if you like, into the journey, just from the braking that you do during the journey. So there are real advantages to plug-in hybrid, and as you say, it's a great stepping stone. It's the best of both worlds, in fact, when it comes to running an electric car.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your retailers now. You've got two distinct styles of retailers. You've got DS salons and DS stores. The salons are areas in dealerships shared with another brand, while the stores are the standalone showrooms. What are your plans with the network moving forwards?
So our plans are quite straightforward, actually. We think we need around 45 dealerships across the UK. At the moment, we're at 32. And what's fundamental for us is to have a dedicated DS experience when it comes to the showroom. So that's what we've been working on. The team were working on it last year before my arrival, and that's what we're doing now in terms of acceleration, is to upgrade the salons into stores to really give that pure DS experience, which our customers are looking for and expect. And then in parallel to that, you know, we hear a lot about selling online. We've developed our selling online capacity that will give us a full end-to-end capacity for customers to discover the cars through to getting finance approval, part exchange appraisal, and ordering the car online. And then alongside the selling online, we've launched DS Virtual Showroom, so people can have a live appointment with an expert advisor and have a live demonstration of the product, walk around, talk about our products and services. And I think for us, the ideal is to give the customer choice, the choice between, do I want to go and see the car in the showroom, talk to someone who knows the brand and the product, who can give me advice, or actually do that online, ask for a test drive remotely. You know, this for me is the perfect harmony between the physical network and an online solution where customers can go between the two. And of course, in the online, what's really important is that customers can choose when they interact with the brand. So, you know, at night instead of during working hours, or you know, we see our web traffic. You know, there's people looking at us at 10 o'clock at night. So, you know, having that facility to be able to conclude maybe what they've seen in a dealership online at 10 o'clock at night when it suits them is really an asset. So for us, that's the right combination. 45 regional stores, dedicated DS showrooms with a full immersive customer experience, and then an online solution where customers can move between the two at their will.
Yeah. That showroom experience is vital for DS, though, isn't it? I mean, whilst you've got brands like Volvo who are saying they're going to go online only, but for DS, that showroom experience where people can touch and feel the pearl stitching and really identify with the brand is crucial here, isn't it?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's I would say it's more crucial for a brand like DS, but I still think that for established brands, you know, customers value that relationship with their local retailer. Now, it doesn't mean that everyone values that relationship. Some, I'm sure, would like to transact online and be managing their whole process online. Absolutely. But I think there is a part of our audience who do still value that personal interaction, that relationship with someone, not just the brand, but someone. And I think, again, for me, having the choice of both is absolutely the right thing to do for the customer.
Yeah. Now, you recently announced details of the concierge service. Can you just explain a little bit more about that and what it's trying to offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've found is feedback from some customers, and I think we've seen it historically in the industry. You know, the traditional approach to selling a car is you deal with the salesman until the handover of the car, and then you're introduced to the service department, and then for the next 3 years or however long it is between you owning your car and looking for your next one, you have a relationship with the service department and not the person who you bought the car from. So we see an opportunity to actually have a single point and single relationship with the customer through the person you start dealing with when you're asking about DS and you're discovering the brand and getting some information on the products available. So the DS concierge is effectively an upgrade from the DS expert advisor, who will not only help you with your purchase of your car, but will also be the person to go to for booking the service, will be the person you come to see when you arrive for your service, or have a remote service and someone coming to collect your car. So really, it's a single point of contact. It's a relationship, one-to-one relationship that can be maintained across the duration of the ownership.
Is this going to be a little bit difficult to sort of achieve, because as we know, in the motor trade, car salespeople and people working within sales. They come and go, don't they? So are you going to put in practices to make sure that people, remain concierges for quite some time?
We've got we've got a number of elements that we already put in to retain our staff, and a lot of it is around training and accreditation, as well as rewarding those who deliver the best customer service. So those things are already in place, and I think, if anything, having this rounded scope of responsibility, where you, as the DS concierge, look after your portfolio of customers day in, day out, actually I think it's a benefit to the people in that role as well as the customer. Now, we'll always have staff turnover, and that's inevitable in any business. What's important is that we're recruiting the right people, that we're introducing where we've had a change of personnel to the customer base, and making sure that service and that relationship is built in the right way in order to make sure that the customer's getting what they need.
Mm-hmm. Jules, fantastic to chat. We're going to have to leave it there for today, I'm afraid, but thank you so much for coming on. Really exciting to hear about the plans for the brand, and we'll have to catch up in a few months' time. Thank you.
In person, hopefully. Thanks, James. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Well, that's it for today's Car Dealer Live. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, goodbye.